ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
Hello everyone, welcome to Awaj the Voice, your go-to source for the most important news of the week. My name is Chanpreet Singh and we bring you the latest updates from different parts of the world. Let's get started with segment 1. National news of Canada. So what's happening in Canada this week? Air Canada flight makes a ferry landing in Halifax. The Transportation Safety Board is investigating after an Air Canada flight from St. John experienced a problem landing at Halifax Stanfield International Airport in Nova Scotia. Social media footage shows the plane skidding down the runway with one of its wings on fire. As soon as the new Churchill Falls hydro deal was announced in St. John this month, the campaign to win over the public was launched, with the Newfoundland and Labrador government pouring hundreds of thousands of dollars into a media blitz. Moving to local news in British Columbia, RCMP say they have been taken down the largest, most sophisticated drug superlab in Canada. The police force says federal investigators focused on combating illicit drug production in Canada busted the lab, which is believed to be run by transnational organized crime group involved in mass production and distribution of fentanyl across Canada and internationally. In Alberta, Calgary police issued a dangerous person alert for the city and surrounding area on Monday, linked to a double homicide investigation that began Sunday night. Calgary police is searching for a 38-year-old Bendrick following the discovery of the bodies of a man in his 70s and a woman in her 30s on Sunday at two different locations in the city. Police had originally said the public was not at the risk given that the deaths are believed to have been targeted and domesticated in nature. But on Monday afternoon, Inspector Lee Wayne explained the reasoning behind issuing the dangerous person alert. In Saskatchewan, weather in November and December 2023 was highly influenced by a strong El Nino pattern. Many locations experienced a brown Christmas for the first time in years, with temperatures trending much warmer than normal. But as January arrived, so too did the traditional cold and snowy winter. Southwest and West Central Saskatchewan experienced a mid-January cold snap not seen in very long time. In Winnipeg, the family of a Nigerian international student shot and killed by a Winnipeg police say they are dealing with a profound sense of frustration as they continue to wait for the independent report into what led to the incident almost a year after the death of 19-year-old Aflobi Opasa. The investigation of Aflobi's death has dragged on far too long, and we are still left with more questions than answers. Our family deserves transparency, accountability, and above all, we need justice. Opaso's sister Yemi Opaso read from a statement prepared on behalf of her family via video call at news conference Monday afternoon. She said, "The delay in the release of the report into her brother's death has only compounded our grief and left her family feeling like the case is being treated with indifference." In Thunder Bay, Lakehead University has been honored for its artificial intelligence (AI) research. Research in Florence named Lakehead as Canada's top research-intensive undergraduate university for AI research and publications in its annual Top 50 Research Universities ranking. "I was very pleased to hear that result," said Andrew Dean, Lakehead Vice President of Research and Innovation. In London, Ontario, police officers arrested two men and a 14-year-old boy on Friday after finding drugs and a loaded gun in backpack in city's southeast. Officers saw an all-terrain vehicle ATV being driven erratically with three people on board at about 10:40 p.m. on December 27. When they tried to stop the ATV, the driver sped away toward a green space behind the commercial plaza near Commissioners Road and Shelbourne Street. In Toronto, vandals have taken down the Parkside Drive speed camera in Toronto for the third time in recent weeks before dumping it into the nearby duck pond. The speed camera, which garners some of the most speeding tickets in the city, was cut down twice in November, the second time coming a day after it had been reinstalled. In New Brunswick, a Fredericton police constable who assaulted his fiancée has resigned from the force ahead of an arbitrary decision on whether he could keep his job. In Prince Edward Island, people can celebrate the New Year a couple of days early after workers removed the 4 and added a fresh 5 to the big red ear sign in downtown Charlottetown. In Northwest Territories, a partial telecommunications outage is affecting calls between landlines and cell phone across the north. In an email to CBC, Northwest said it is working to determine.
Segment 2 Punjab News. In Punjab this week, Punjab government team again meets the Lewal as Supreme Court deadline approaching. Over the past few days, a state government's team led by former additional DGP Jaskaran Singh has made several attempts to convince the Lewal, whose indefinite hunger strike entered 35th day on Monday, to take medical help, but he has refused. Secondly, normal life was hit across Punjab on Monday due to a 9-hour bandh called by farmers protesting against the centre for their various demands, including a legal guarantee of MSP for their crops. Rail operations in Punjab were mostly suspended. Buses and other vehicles remained off the road, leaving passengers strained, and shops and establishments drawn shutters. As the 7 a.m. to 4 a.m. bandh passed off peacefully, petrol pumps were also shut, a senior farmer leader said. Farmer leaders who gave the bandh call no more than a week ago declared it successful and thanked to 3 crore Punjabis for extending their full support. And all 8 blast incidents targeting police installations solved. Punjab DJP Yadav says 5 terrorists modules having handlers in US, Canada and Europe, besides in Pakistan, were responsible for 8 blasts, in which grenades and RDX were used. 2 spacecraft that would aid ISRO in demonstrating space taking a critical technology for future space missions got separated successfully and were placed into the desired orbit late on Monday, ISRO said. PSLV C-60 mission accomplished as of SpaceX spacecraft is considered, said Mission Director M. Jayakumar. ISRO Chief S. Somanath said the rocket has placed the satellite in the right orbit of 475 km circular orbit after over 15 minutes of flight. For the Congress, 2024 started on a good note as it won 99 seats in Lok Sabha poll and the opposition India bloc managed to secure 240 seats. Unlike the last 2 general elections when the BJP got a clear mandate, this time the Saffron Party was restricted to 240 seats and was unable to form the government on its own. Rahul Gandhi was also elected as the leader of opposition in the lower house of parliament. However, since the Congress party has also seen some major setbacks. The Grand Old Party was certain of poll victory in Haryana Assembly elections. However, the BJP returned to power for the 3rd consecutive term, handing out a comprehensive defeat to the Congress. And we are deeply saddened by the passing of Dr. Manmohan Singh, former Prime Minister of India and the visionary leader behind India's economic liberalization. A statesperson of humanity and wisdom, India owes him a debt of gratitude. That's the big news from Punjab. Let's now take a look at what's happening in worldwide in next video. Segment 3 International News. On the global stage this week, we saw South Korea's acting president Choi Sang-mok on Monday order an emergency safety inspection of the country's entire airline operation system as investigators worked out to identify victims and find out what caused the deadliest air disaster in the country. All 175 passengers and 4 of 6 crew were killed when a Jeju Air Boeing 737-800 belly landed and skidded off the end of runway at Muan International Airport on Sunday, erupting a fireball as it slammed into a wall. 2 crew members were pulled out alive. The top priority for now is identifying the victims, supporting their families, and treating the 2 survivors, Choi told a disaster management meeting in Seoul. Ukraine and Russia carried out a new exchange of prisoners of war on Monday, with the 2 sides bringing home a combined total of more than 300 former captives. Kyiv brought home 189 former captives, President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russia's defense minister said, while the Russian minister said 150 Russian servicemen were returning home. The Russian ministry said the captives had been released in Belarus, Moscow's close ally in 34-month-old war with Ukraine, and would be transferred to Russia. The head of the World Health Organization (WHO) on Monday called for an end to attack on hospitals in Gaza after Israel struck one and raided another in the past few days. Hospitals in Gaza have once again become battlegrounds and health system is under severe threat, said WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom in a post on X. We repeat, stop attacks on hospitals. People in Gaza need access to health care. Humanitarians need access to provide health aid. Ceasefire. That's the latest on international news. Segment 4, Sports News. In sports this week, India skipper Rohit Sharma looked shattered as he confessed to being disturbed after the heavy loss of Australia in the 4th test here, saying there are things that need to addressed at the personal level apart from the team's collective problems amid intense focus on his form. With 31 runs in 6 innings across 3 tests, the Indian skipper's tally is just one more than Jasprit Bumrah's series wicket haul of 30. The clamour for test retirement has reached a crescendo, and Sydney could be his final port of call while invitees, but he doesn't want to go out without a fight. Where does he stand as a batter and as a captain? What is his frame of mind? The questions are many, but the answers are not so simple. Canada Border Service Agency (CBSA) officers working with the Integrated Border Enforcement Team in Alberta, a joint force operation between RCMP Federal Policing Northwest Region CBSA Calgary Police Services seized 189 kg of cocaine following a secondary examination of a commercial truck seeking entry at the court's port of entry on November 13, 2024, and today the Department of Finance Canada announced the automobile income tax deduction limits and expenses benefits rates that will apply in 2025. Thank you for tuning in to Awaj the Voice. If you felt informed by this update, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to stay informed. See you next week.